Hi, welcome back to my art studio. The sun is streaming in, announcing spring after a few days of snow in Colorado, and I have a few pages in my mixed media art journal I'd like to share with you. The other day, I was looking for just some way to get some really soft color on this page with the rubber stamp ink, and I pulled out my pastels and remembered a journal technique that I had developed a few years ago that allows me to get really soft, colorful effects without pastel smudging. And that's what I want to share with you today. This technique is really fun for laying down some color, again, that doesn't smudge, it's amazing, and still allows you to write or sketch on top of the pastel. Here are the materials you'll need. Any set of soft stick pastels where the sticks are not individually wrapped with paper, any set will work. I usually work with Faber-Castell. This is a less expensive set of soft pastels. It won't matter what you might have at home, and it's okay if they're broken, whatever. So you need a set of stick pastels. Again, they're labeled soft. You need a piece of scrap paper and you need some cotton pads. I like the circles or squares, doesn't matter, and they come in a tube usually. A ball of cotton won't work, so find yourself some cotton pads. If you don't have cotton pads, paper towel will do okay, although I do like the cotton pads. You'll need a journal with a blank page, and you're basically set. The first thing you're going to do is take your scrap paper and rip out a shape, and I encourage you to work with sort of a mountain shape because it's easy to rip and it's satisfying. So I'm just ripping my paper to create kind of mountain hills and valleys and plateaus and all that good stuff. So here's my scrap paper where this is a deckled or rough edge, and it's kind of calling or reminding me of the mountains. I'm going to start at the top. Now, before I start using my pastels, I want to move the colors I'm going to work with close together. So in other words, I'm going to use this blue, the purple, and the pink. I want them sitting next to each other in the set. You're not lifting up the pastel at all. I want them sitting close to each other in the set because when I scrub up the pastel onto my cotton, if I have black or a dark color sitting next to it that I don't want, it will often transfer. So put the colors that you want close together. I'm going to take my cotton and fold it, and then for this one I will start with blue. So I'm going back and forth over my pastel, and it's picking up on the cotton. Now, if you try that and you're not getting pastel on the cotton, sometimes it's because your set has been sitting maybe in your studio for a while and it's got a bit of a waxy buildup on the pastel. Just try picking up the stick and flipping it over to a side that has not been exposed to the air, and then go with your finger and see if you're getting some of that dust. If it's coming off on your finger, it'll come off on the cotton. So that's a trick. Just flip over or rotate your pastel stick so that you actually get that chalk of the dust up on your cotton. This does not work at all with oil pastels. It's just for chalk pastels. Okay, so as I said, I'm putting my stencil at the top, and I'm just going to now press over the stencil into my page, and I am exerting some pressure. So you do have to push down pretty hard, because what this is doing is scrubbing the pigment and the dust into the fiber of the paper. And it's kind of miraculous because now when I pick up my stencil, I have my outline. I might have a bit of pastel dust right along the edge, so I'm going to get a clean spot on my cotton and just kind of flick that going away. Do not ever blow on this. You don't want pastel dust in the air and then getting into your lungs. So by scrubbing it on there, look, it's not smudging. I'm not getting it off on my finger. It's a beautiful thing. Now I'm going to take that ripped paper. I flipped it over just for some variety. And now I'm going to fold my cotton a little differently, and I'll pull up some of this purple by swiping back and forth checking my cotton. I see that I'm getting some of the pastel on my cotton the way I want. And now I'm doing another layer, applying the purple. And this technique of scrubbing my pastel onto my page is, again, kind of an amazing thing, because it is going to adhere the pastel dust onto the fibers so it won't smudge. Now you can probably see a couple of shapes of those mountains. I'll do one more just to finish this out. And for this, again, I'm going to get a clean place on my cotton. And this time, maybe I'll go a little more bold, and I'll take some of that red and maybe the pink together. And I'm scrubbing it out. Ooh, look at that. And again, that's not smudging. If I did get some pastel someplace I didn't want it, maybe down here just a little bit, I can just take any kind of eraser and erase through that and clean that up. I can also use my eraser to add some extra dimension, extra decoration to it, like those lines there. And so knowing that you can erase any place where the pastel might have inadvertently gotten to is also really fun. And the cool thing about this is now I can do an entire journal entry going in and out of the pastel, and it doesn't mess up the tip of my pen. It just gives me some pleasure. And you'll see that this technique works on other shapes as well. Here I had a large hole punch, so I punched out this circle out of just a piece of mixed media paper. And if I set that down and then apply my pastel around it, I can get a really fun circular shape. And I can do the same thing with overlapping and trying different colors, so long as I scrub my pastel onto my cotton and then I scrub the pastel onto the page and I lift up or continue to push out any pastel dust that has accumulated along the edges. And look at that for a fun journal technique. And if you try it, make sure that you're pressing over it with your finger to double check. You'll see that it is not going to smudge. So again, this technique is so much better than trying to apply pastel on your journal page like that, because this is going to smudge and create all kinds of problems when you close the book. It will get on the page that's touching it. So I encourage you to apply your pastel with a cotton pad. So with this pastel technique, you don't have to just go around the outside of a shape. You can cut out a shape and move your pastel to the inside. I cut out the shape of the tree, set that stencil down on the page, and pushed my pastel inside. And you can see it on both trees. And then I used my pastel to just capture some of the beautiful pink blossoms that are all over on these beautiful spring trees. So I hope you enjoy fooling around with the pastels you may have sitting in a drawer. And if you liked this video, please subscribe below with a like sign. And you can also sign up for my newsletter at jcmamet.net for more tips and tricks. Thanks, and happy spring.